Welcome. Now we will see how to implement Bootstrap, what how to design a website using Bootstrap from a layout. Now we have a layout over here designed by Mr. Rishikesh. This is, I think, the tab version. This is Rishikesh portfolio with the navigation on the top. This is supposed to be an image slider. This is the profile information about us, about Rishikesh information, and these are the services provided by Rishikesh. Then he has some more information regarding his skills, some reviews, and then the footer area. This is the mobile version where this is the navigation. This is again image slider about Rishikesh information and his services and skill sets. Reviews and footer. And this is the desktop version. Navigation, image slider, about us information, and other information. So let's get bootstrap.com. This is the official site of Bootstrap. In that, click on download Bootstrap. In the first link, download Bootstrap, it will download a zip file. Go to the folder. This is the zip file. Extract it. And you will get the Bootstrap folder. Inside it you will find three folders. One is CSS. Inside it you will find CSS files. One is fonts, the glyphicon, and JavaScript, where you have JavaScript files. You also need to download jQuery. So go to jQuery official site, that is jQuery.com. Click on download jQuery. Here you will see two files, one is production and one is development. Basically these two files contain same functions. The development is basically the human readable file which you can refer while working, and the production is little bit lesser in storage size, so at the time of deployment you can upload the production file to save the space. You can right click on any one of them and click on save linked content as, and save the jQuery file, that is jQuery, the version number .min refers to the production file, and click on save. It is being saved in D. Let's save it in downloads only, and click on save. It will save a .js file. So basically jQuery is nothing but a JavaScript file. Now before starting a project, you should create a project folder. So go to say F, we'll create a new folder over here. We'll name it as sample project. Inside it we will make folders for the project. First is CSS, second is images. Inside images I will have two more folders, one is background and the other is illustration. And then we have JavaScript folder, a resources folder in which we can put the PSD file and other resources, like if you have done any photo shoot for your website, or if you have created icons using Illustrator or Corel, all that data you can put in resources. The selected data from that, like if you have done a photo shoot, the selected images will go into the images folder. In images folder, again we have two folders, one is background and one is illustration. Background, in background we will put the images which will be using through CSS as background property for the div. Especially we do it for those images which remain constant on multiple pages, whereas illustration will put those images which will be using img tag and will be different on different pages. So resources, I usually create a folder like references in which I can put multiple kind of data which I took it as a reference just browsing on the websites. Then we need one more folder, that is fonts, just in case if you want to use some fonts which are not so common, you can use them with the help of font face, right? So this is the basic folder structure. Now as we have downloaded jQuery and Bootstrap, so let's go to the download folder, go to the Bootstrap folder, CSS, and copy all the CSS files. Ctrl A for select all, Ctrl C for copy, and in this CSS folder paste it. Similarly, go to JavaScript, copy all the JavaScript files of Bootstrap and go to the JavaScript folder of our project and paste them. Also we need to copy the fonts and the jQuery file which we had downloaded, copy that in JavaScript folder. Okay, now let us see how to start with the project. So the code will start with HTML and obviously it will end with HTML. Inside HTML we have two tags, one is head and the other is body. Save the file as .html extension, name it as sampleboot.html so that you can open it in browser. Inside header you can obviously have title, and other tags. Now inside body we need to start with the website. Now here we have three different designs, one is for a desktop, one is for tab, and one is for mobile. Before starting with the details, let's create a div which contains the whole website. Let's name this div as main, which contains the whole website. Now inside head you need to attach the CSS files, and the sequence for that should be like this. First you need to link bootstrap.css. Now let's go to the Bootstrap folder first. I'll explain few things. In CSS we had copied all the Bootstrap CSS files. In that we have multiple CSS files. One is bootstrap.css and the other is bootstrap.min.css. Basically both files are same files, both the files contain same classes. Bootstrap.css is the human readable file where you have comments and other things which you can refer at the time of production. Bootstrap.min.css is the compact version of the same file. The storage size is less. At the time of deployment, you can use this file to save the space. Similarly, we have bootstrap-theme.css and bootstrap-theme.min.css. This is the minified version of the same file. Mainly, the classes of these will be useful while using the Bootstrap plugins. Now, while uploading or attaching the files, first you need to attach bootstrap.css. Then you can link bootstrap-theme.css. Then you can link custom.css. Custom is basically the CSS file which we will be creating for making customized changes. After that, you need to use script tag to attach JavaScript files. First, you need to attach jQuery.js. Then you can attach bootstrap.js. So the sequence should be like this only, because bootstrap.js uses jQuery.js. So that's it. This will be sufficient for doing any project using Bootstrap. Now we have created a div and ID is main, in which the whole site is covered. If you are using Bootstrap, if you have already attached bootstrap.css and bootstrap-theme.css, you can assign a class as container. Once you attach a class container, basically what it does, it will take the main div at the center, leaving padding on both, that is left and right side. And this is done for all, desktop, tab and mobile. So you don't have to give a separate property like margin 0 space auto. The container class does the same thing. It takes care of all the things, and also it gives you default padding for the inner content. So we will start with div having ID main and class as container. Now inside that we have many different sections. So at the top we will see the navigation. Here is the image slider, here is about us and all. Now roughly any website is divided into three parts. First is header part, where we have navigation, banner and other stuff. Second is the main content or the body, where we have the detailed information about the site. And lastly the footer part, which is at the bottom, in which we can again repeat the navigation and sitemap and other things, contact, Google location, Google map location and stuff like that. So we divide the layout into different parts or different sections. In this site as well, we can divide this as this is a navigation part, this is a image slider part, which is basically covering the whole width. Now for such kind of containers which literally covers the 100% of the given width, we can use a row class. So this is navigation, This is image slider, this is about. For that you can have, for navigation obviously you can have a nav tag, which is HTML5 tag, nav tag, and for nav tag you can have class as row. After that image slider is there, in that you can use header tag, HTML5 tag. For that as well you can use class is equal to row, so that it will cover the whole area. Inside header, if you put h1 tag, and inside h1 if you write the company name or the website name, it becomes easy for the search engines to search. In this case we can put the name Rishikesh Kunnur, which we want Google to find very easily, as it is inside h1 tag, which is inside a header tag. Then for this about part, again we can have one section, and for this tag also we can have one section. But if you check the tab, these two are adjacent to one another. That means both should be inside a common container. So let me define a section tag with id as section1 or anything you can name it, and that is covering the whole width. So a section1 is basically a container containing both these divs, and the class for that can be row section, and inside section we have two different divs. There is one is this one and one is this one. So let's give id to the first div as Rishi, and id for the second should be about. Now if you see carefully, for the desktop or even for the mobile, this is the mobile version. For the mobile version, it has occupied the whole width of the browser, and if you are using Bootstrap or even Foundation framework, the total width is generally divided into 12 columns. Now for mobile it is occupying 12 columns. That is Rishi, the div with an id of Rishi is occupying 12 columns. The div with an id of about is also occupying 12 columns. For mobile, for tab, if the total width is 12, it is occupying half of the width. That means it is occupying 6 columns out of 12, and this is also occupying 6 columns out of 12. And for the desktop, it is occupying 12 and 12 each. So the code can be, start with the Rishi, class is equal to, for desktop it is occupying 12 columns, so we can apply bootstrap classes as call dash md. Md stands for desktop, that is medium size, which is greater than or equal to 992 pixels. Call dash md dash 12 space, simply you can write another class. You can apply multiple classes to a div. You simply have to separate them with a space bar. So call-md-12 means for the desktop it will occupy 12 columns, that is the total width of browser, or total width of parent, not the browser, total width of its parent. So call-md-12 space call-sm is for small size, that is for tab -6. As for the tab, it is occupying half of the space. Let's apply the third class, that is call-access. Access is for the extra small devices. sm is greater than equal to 768 pixels and access is basically less than 768 pixels. So call-access-12, and don't forget to close the classes with double quotes. If you miss any small element in the syntax, the whole code will not work, and you need to spend a lot of time figuring the mistake. So the classes for div having id rishi will be call-md-12, call-sm-6 and call-access-12 depending upon the width they occupy on different devices. The same classes will be applied to the lower div, that is about. Now if you think about this part, I think this is basically desktop. I mistakenly taken it as tab. So on the desktop it is occupying 6 and 6 columns, and this is for the tab. So we need to make a very small change. For MD it is 6 and for SM it is 12 for both. Now for this part, on desktop all 4 are in a single row, so we can take a container containing all 4 elements. Before that we missed this div, that is hire me. If you check the tab, that particular portion is simply missing, and for mobile as well it is missing, so we can design that also. For desktop it is occupying almost the complete width of its parent, so for that we will insert one div having id as hire me and with class call-md-12 as it is occupying the whole width of its parent and desktop level. And for tab and mobile it is simply invisible, so you can apply hidden-sm and hidden-access. That means on small devices and on extra small devices the div will be hidden and it will not occupy any space. So this solves the problem. Now for these 4 there should be a common container. Let's create one more section, give id as section 2, and the parent of all 4 in all the devices is basically occupying the whole width of its parent. Even the container which is containing all 4 is covering the full width. Even for mobile, the container which is covering all 4 is covering almost the whole width of the parent. So section 2 is basically parent of all 4, and the class should be call dash md dash 12 space call dash sm dash 12 space call dash access dash 12, and inside it we have 4 divs. This is one, this is two, this is three, and this is four. And as on desktop all 4 are in line, we can apply class is equal to call dash md dash 3 as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12 space on tab 2 are in a line, that is 6 6 6 6. So we can write call dash sm dash 6 space from mobile all are below one another, that is complete width of the parent call dash access dash 12. Don't forget to close with the double quotes, and this will be the same for all remaining divs. When we apply these classes, we don't separately have to write float left to this, because if we don't write float left, this div will automatically at the bottom. So we need to write float left for this and this as well. But once you apply bootstrap classes, you don't have to give those properties manually. That will be taken care by the bootstrap classes.